loud enough to the universe,
Yeah.
the angels will hear
You just
you.
have faith that they're there.
Yeah.
And they hear you.
Yeah.
And they'll let you know that they can hear you.
Exactly. Thanks, Claudia. You're my angel.
Oh, you are too.
And we'll be back after a few more elements of harmonic, which is a topic in its own.
Welcome back. This is our third segment called Spirits with Spirits. So we're going to try something a little different here. This is where we like to have a little bit of fun. Each week, one of us is going to bring in a bottle of something very special. A favorite wine, perhaps a liqueur or spirit, a favorite beer, or even some homebrew, perhaps. We'll enjoy a sampling of our spirit beverage, provide a history of its making, and provide some awesome feedback. This segment's also about promoting our favorite books, music, documentaries, videos, TED Talks, YouTube clips, anything you name it. So if you have anything you'd like us to recommend in this segment, including a spirit, drop us a line, and we'd love to hear from you.
How do they drop your line?
On Facebook, they can contact us on Facebook at the Numinous Factor, and we also have an email address,
which is
the Numinous Factor at hotmail.com.
Right.
Nice
Lovely.
and easy. There you go.
So what is your tipple for the day, for the
Well,
episode?
Today I have brought Amaretto. Now, Amaretto is very close to my heart because Amaretto was only introduced to Canada, which is where I'm from, in the very early 80s. No one had ever heard of it before then.
Do you know what? I thought it was Italian.
It is Italian. You're exactly right.
But it was introduced to Canada.
It was, yeah, it's been around in Italy for a million years, but Amaretto is a liqueur with an almond flavor. The name Amaretto is Italian for a little bitter. The Lazzoni family of Verona, Italy, claims the title as the inventors of Amaretto. They invented the Lazzoni Amaretto cookies around 1786 for the king of the region. Then in 1851 they created the Amaretto liqueur, which consisted of an infusion of their cookies with a little caramel for color. Another legend from the Reina family, who formerly worked for the Lazzoni family, tells of Amaretto being created by a widow who posed for Renaissance painter Bernardino Luini in 1525. The woman fell in love with the painter and made her Amaretto potion for him. Her original recipe has purportedly been handed down from generation to generation without change and is currently marked as the Desarona original liqueur, which is what we're drinking today. Amaretto may or may not contain almonds. It is primarily made from either apricot pits or almonds or both. It may contain any number of added spices and flavorings. Chin chin.
Very nice.
Do you like it?
I do. I do like the almond flavour, but I certainly couldn't drink a lot of it.
Oh no!
But
it's very Christmassy.
You'd be surprised how many people have got. They've got a bottle in their drinks cabinet, and you find after you've drunk everything else, that's probably the last one that you've got your hands on.
I think, oh, what's this little treasure sitting in here?
Yes.
Oh, this is lovely.
I've run out of wine.
Any Amaretto, anyone?
What else have we got?
That's the last one, isn't it?
Put it in your coffee or put it in some bickies. It has a lovely sort of a Christmas feel about it.
Does alcohol affect your gift?
It does. It does relax you, and you tend to see a bit more if you haven't switched it off. But then you can open yourself to contact with spirits that you probably wouldn't want to be a part of your conversation. So there's not that it's ever really happened to me, but I've always been wary of it as part of my upbringing, that you don't allow yourself to be open to all spirits, because they'd say there's some spirits that would be travelling through who might be collecting a few people. We don't want them to do that. And what they mean by that is that they will convince you that they are something they're not.
Is there any particular star sign where alcohol could be regarded as a danger?
Good question.
Yeah.
I'd be more inclined to initially be drawn towards the number 5. So anyone who is a ruling 5, and what I mean by that is if you add up all the numbers of your birthday, including the year you were born, and it comes to a base number of 5, the number 5 is the Dionysus, if you like, of the numbers. They enjoy the party, the food, the drink, the just the entertainment and getting a bit carried away. But then as far as the star signs go, I would be inclined initially to look at the mutable signs, because they can be slightly more inclined to overindulging, addiction, and so forth. So you've got, initially you've got Gemini, you've got Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius.
Did you say they were mutable?
A mutable sign.
A mutable.
Yeah, mutable. So you've got cardinal, fixed, and mutable. So out of the 3. So whatever star sign you'll fall into one of those categories. And what that means, for the mutable signs tend to be very, they don't like confrontation. This is why they tend to they will tend to dive into something or a distraction, because they don't want to be confronted. They don't want to get involved. They'll step back. Whereas then you have the cardinal signs. So you've got Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. The cardinal signs are the ones that step in. When something needs to be done, they will step in and sort out an argument. They'll get in and fix it. They're the ones that are the head of the crowd that will, if there's a situation going on, they're the ones that rise above the panic and think, right, let's get this fixed, let's get this sorted. And then you have the fixed signs. So the cardinal signs will be the ones that come up with the ideas, the fixed signs. So then you've got, where are we? Taurus, you've got Leo, you've got Scorpio, and you've got Aquarius, are all the fixed signs. So out of all the elements, they can be the most stubborn. They will dig their heels in if there's something they don't want to do, but they're damn good workers, and they're extremely creative.
Are they, if they are creative, if they are ideas generators, would they not, almost by definition, be affected by stimuli in any case? Now, that's not necessarily alcohol. It could be a view.
Gambling,
it could be anything. It could be looking at the beach. It could be, but they find
that's a positive way.
They find stimuli. They recognise and use stimuli to trigger.
That's right. So certain things like, say, meditation is ruled by Pisces. The Piscean nature is all about the spiritual, ruled by Neptune. Neptune is all about, that sort of
water and flow.
Yeah, and energy and so forth. Whereas the other signs, they'll have different sort of things that they kind of are indicative of representing. So, for example, war. You think of Aries.
Yeah.
Taurus, you think of hard work in the farmer tilling the earth and so forth. Gemini rules this world, the world of media and news and anything to do with film and television and so forth. Newspapers, journalism. Cancer loves to be near the sea. It's all about home, about mother, about food, about the earth. And you can go through each sign. And then you break it down to, even though you may be whatever sign you were born as, an astrologer will then come in and look at
just the rising sign.
The rising sign. So that's why they need to know the time of your birth. So even though, for example, myself, I'm an Aries, but I have a Leo ascendant. So the time that I was born, and in the region that I was born around the world, will indicate my other personality, if you like, my alter ego.
Yeah.
And then whatever sign the moon is in, that will dictate how you express your emotions and so on. So that's why no one is just an Aries or just a Gemini. No. That's why when you read the printouts in the paper, that's only a very small portion of who you really are.
Would astrology be used by harvesters of the grape to say?
Absolutely.
I thought
Absolutely. Yeah. You are not wrong there.
When should I pick?
Exactly. Anyone who is working with the earth will be watching the phases of the moon. They'll know the best time to plant, the best time to harvest. And we've had some very unusual celestial activity this year too. Like at the end of January, we had that the blue blood moon, which was an insanely rare occurrence. It was beautiful.
Gorgeous.
But some very strange things have happened since then. So it's you have little events like that, and even though it's to do with astronomy per se, but it does influence, because of the sign that it was in, it does influence what I do. And going forward. And we've already had some activity in the property market, because now that the planet Uranus has come into the sign of Taurus. Taurus rules property and the things we own and material items, and the stock market of all things. So
you did suggest this on your radio program.
I did, and I don't know if you've been following the housing market in Sydney alone. It's coming down.
Yep, you did foreshadow.
I did.
Yeah, there was something that was released on one of the documentary programs not that long ago that suggested that Australia was heading for a credit crunch, a cash drop.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And I was thinking, oh no, I've just moved away from one of those.
Well, you can always come to your astrology to sort of get a little bit of a foreshadowing of what's coming in anything.
Yeah.
Why do you? What is the derivation of the word spirit? And the reason I ask that is that it's obviously used in terms of the Amaretto that we're currently enjoying, and it's also to do with someone on the other side. So what is the connection? Do you know?
Well, if you had I'm sure there would be a dictionary.
Yes, an entomology connection.
Yes, it would be far more
entomological.
Yeah, accurate.
Have another Amaretto.
Be able to articulate that.
But
hick, hick, hick. But I would assume that when you talk about spirit, that it's not, other than a liquid spirit, that it's not really considered to be tangible, is it? It's not a solid mass. And
energy.
So there's that. Yeah, there is that connection with energy and. They talk about the third eye, the mind eye, that when you see something, it's a vision, or, they talk about ghosts and things like that, an apparition. So nothing is actually tangible. So some religious beliefs or spiritual organisations refer to the soul. They don't say spirit. And some will refer to it as spirit and not soul, and some will say both.
Do you think there is a difference between the two?
I definitely believe that there is a difference between the soul and spirit.
Right.
So I think they're all connected. In future programs, we'll talk about, what happens in the heavens and how we choose our journey, how we come back to live the life that we are living now, whether you like it or not, Brodie. You chose this one. You even chose that T-shirt that you're wearing. Looks nice.
He's very dapper. What are you talking about?
So, I think, but it's all open to interpretation. There are bound to be lots of listeners who will say, no, I don't believe that, or yes, I do. And all the more reason why we would like you to contact us and ask questions or even challenge what we have said in this podcast.
Which is sort of partially my job.
Yes.
My job. Look, I think for your first episode, it's the direction that you're taking is fascinating, and as you and all the elements that you're going to unbundle. I'm not sure about the whether the alcohol thing is going to last for the next 30 episodes. Would be my only question.
Well, that's true too. You might end up in a rock somewhere, under a rock somewhere.
Out of curiosity, what is your favourite tipple?
Well, if I could choose, the absolute favourite would be a bottle of Bolly.
Right. Oh well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next episode.
Yes. Second to that would be chili vodka, but I don't.
Okay.
Excuse me. I wouldn't put the two of them together because that would be rocket fuel.
Oh yeah.
What about you? What's your?
Oh, I do like tequila.
Tequila, yeah.
Yes.
They're both very well. Other than the champagne, they're both very definitive statements of not like beer.
Well, did you know too
light.
with tequila is the only alcohol that's actually an upper, whereas alcohol tends to be depressant
Yep.
per se.
Yep.
Tequila is not. It's the only one that isn't.
Right.
It just